I am the Witch of Jasmine, and welcome back to my channel. Today, I have a reading for Pisces moons. How you doing, Pisces moons? I hope you're doing well. Happy beginning of March. I'm personally so excited. I love March. Well, I really love spring, and March is it's the beginning of it. The very, very beginning of spring, so. And look at that. Those just flew right out. I love it. Love it. So as I'm shuffling out these cards, I invite you to take some deep breaths. I'm about done, but still. Ground yourself, calm yourself, center yourself, get relaxed, get comfy. Oh. There we go. I think this one wants to be upright. Okay. Oh, and actually, sorry. I know that didn't pick up on camera, but that one wanted to come out too. There we go. Okay, let's take a look at your cards. So for the Oracle card, we have Emotion with the Earth element and Cancer. I'm not sure what that is. It makes me think of like incense? I don't know if that's smoke or I don't know what that is. But anyway. Alright, and for your tarot cards, we have the Empress. Oh, forgot to show you. Oh my gosh. The Empress. Three of Cups. Four of Pentacles reversed. Two of Athames, aka Two of Swords. The Moon reversed. And Six of Chalices, aka Six of Cups. And then we'll flip this one over whenever I feel like it's time to flip it over. So with this Oracle card here, which, if you're new to my readings, the Oracle card is the overall message, the main theme, the main takeaway from my readings. If you're not going to take anything else away from this reading, at least take away this. And this card is largely about, like, controlling your emotions, having a good handle on them, but specifically during times that are difficult and when things don't go the way that you want them to. Accepting that things sometimes just are the way that they are. In fact, I'll actually read to you. I don't often do this. This is the little book that comes with this Oracle deck. And the page here that explains it, which you can pause to read it if you'd like. But I specifically want to read this part that says, "A flower falls even though we love it, and a weed grows even though we do not love it." That's what this card is about. Is learning to adapt to difficult situations emotionally, and understanding that it's just simply a part of life, right? It's impossible to try to control everything, to have everything go your way all the time. It's just a truth that you have to accept, that things will happen even when you don't want them to, right? Which I don't want to sound like I'm like over explaining it. I just think it's one of those things that's a lot easier said than done, right? It's a lot easier to just kind of like tell someone like, well, that's life. What are you going to do? You got to roll with it. But then when you're in the middle of it, you're like, well, but I didn't want it to go this way, but I don't like this. It shouldn't be this way. It's a lot easier to like let your emotions take control of you to the point where, you know, it's not helpful, right? So anyway, that's the main thing. Let's get into some of these little details. So I think this part right here, it's telling me that this, whatever specific situation we're talking about, it has something to do with a question of how you want something to grow. That's what the Empress is all about. She's all about fertility, about building something, about cultivating something, something that likely will bring you some kind of abundance, but it could also certainly be about a relationship or something like that. Anything that you're working towards, anything that you're trying to build or grow. And Two of Athame is about a decision. Likely a decision. Hi, Cheralyn. Likely a decision that requires a lot of compromise and negotiating. That's kind of what it looks like they're doing here. Something where like you win some, you lose some, you know. But ultimately the goal is not that like anybody comes out on top and somebody else, oh, that's Cheralyn's tail. She's crawling around right here. It's not about like somebody winning and somebody losing, right? It's about just coming to an equal agreement, equally compromising, right? Something like that. So I think that's kind of a basic idea of what we're talking about here, the situation here. You know what though? I think with this Three of Cups and Moon reverse, because it kind of seems like a contradiction here. Because Three of Cups is the friendship card. It's about having good relationships with these people. Like I think this is somebody who you have a good relationship with, generally speaking. But this Moon card reversed is about like deceit, things being hidden, or maybe some kind of like manipulation or trickery or deception. I don't think that that's what's actually happening necessarily in this situation. I think this is what you fear is happening. I think it might be a little easy for you to jump to that or just kind of assume that this person is trying to trick you or trying to get you, when that's not necessarily the case. There's nothing in this reading that makes me feel like they're trying to like pull one over you, you know? I think it's like obviously fair to be skeptical and to be cautious, especially depending on what kind of relationship this is, right? If it's like a business partnership, then yeah, you need to be careful about that. But there's a healthy level of that, right? You also don't want to just be falsely accusing people of things that they're not doing, because it just comes from a place of fear, you know? So all of that to say, like, it's fair to feel that way, but you can also just simply acknowledge that you feel that way and use that to make good decisions, and that be it, you know? I mean, given the context of this reading, I feel like it might be a little easy for you to jump to the emotions, you know? Be like, well, it's possible that this person might be trying to, you know, pull one over me and trick me. Hey, Lynn. And if they're doing that, well, then that makes me really upset. So now I'm going to go to them upset, right? That's kind of, that's when you cross the line into, to put it a little harshly, create a problem that doesn't exist, that could exist but doesn't, you know what I mean? So I think it's really interesting how we have this Four of Pentacles reversed here with the Six of Cups, or Six of Cups up, right? So I'll start with explaining what Four of Pentacles means. I usually describe this card as like, if you can imagine somebody who like grew up with not a lot of money, right? Not a lot of access to the things that they need, and kind of grew up with this scarcity mindset. And then when they got older, they, really built themselves up, or however, got into some sort of situation where they no longer needed to feel that way, where they pretty much have all of their wants and needs met, and they're comfortable and they're successful. But the problem is that they still have that mindset, and they are so scared of it being taken away at any second, right? We have this person here who has, this box of all of these things that he has accumulated and built, and, there's like gold coins like spilling out of it. But he's not happy, right? He's sitting on top of this box and like guarding it because he's so, and there's this little kitty like looking out the window, because he's so scared that it could be taken away at any second. He's really scared that somebody will come and take it, or maybe he'll screw something up and it'll all go away. And instead of enjoying this thing that he now has and celebrating it and being grateful for it, he's just so scared of it being screwed up and being taken away. And that's all he's really like preoccupied with. So that's what Four of Pentacles is about. But of course we have it reversed. And I hate to say it, but this is kind of one of those situations where it would really help if I had some like extra context of the specific situation. However, we do have the Six of Cups below it, which is, sorry, there's a tail here, which Six of Cups is about like childhood and nostalgia. Or it could simply kind of refer to back like the good old days, which again is almost kind of a contradiction to Four of Pentacles, right? Because Four of Pentacles implies that it was more difficult before, less difficult now, while Six of Cups is kind of remembering and missing those older days. But we have Four of Pentacles reversed. It's not upright, it's reversed. Therefore, the meaning is different. So I'm just trying to piece together exactly what that could be. It's funny, I don't think I've ever seen these cards before. I think that's such an interesting little pair. You know what I think it is? I think it's telling you, because when we have these cards, just to kind of explain a little more. I try not to explain how tarot works too much in these videos, but I also kind of can't help myself. When we have these more negative cards reversed, like when this is upright, it's a more negative or challenging message. When it's reversed, it's usually a sign that you are overcoming that thing, right? So that's kind of what I'm feeling with this Four of Pentacles reversed. Not always. It's complicated, but that's the general idea. I think it would really, really help you in order to kind of overcome this fear-based mindset that you have with this situation, to think about, if you can place yourself in the position or in the shoes of when you were younger, right? If your younger self got to see where you're at right now and be like, oh, you have that thing? Your life looks like that? That's what I always wanted. I can't believe I got to do that, you know? Because don't you think they would be admiring you? Don't you think they would be so excited to see that? And do you think they would want you to just be scared the whole time? How do you think they would feel, right? How do you think they would react to it? Oh, Halen. So I think that might be a good starting point and a good thing to consider of, you know, not that it's wrong to feel this way, right? That's not a flaw. That's not illogical. It's human nature. I feel like that's how pretty much anyone would feel, right? But it's also a form of getting in the way of your own happiness and peace, right? So, and kind of like what I was saying here, kind of creating, I know it's harsh, I'm sorry, but creating problems that haven't happened, that could possibly happen. And yes, you of course want to be responsible and do what you can to prevent those things. But there's also a line. You don't want to cross that line where all of a sudden you are acting as if you have a problem that you don't have, right? So I think kind of like going back to that and being like, wow, well, if little me, if young me saw that I have this thing that I've worked so hard for and wanted so bad, what would they do? You know? If little me saw this amazing partner that I have right now, how would they act? What would they do? You know? Would they take them on a date? You know? Would they just want to have a nice movie night with them? Would they tell them how they want to feel? You know, essentially, like, how would they appreciate it? How would they show gratitude for it? You know? I think that'll help you take a step in a more positive and ultimately more peaceful direction. All right, let's move on to our bonus card that this one is sitting on top of. Aylin. Okay. We have Harvest reversed, aka Judgment reversed. Oh my gosh, it's such a mess up here. Sorry. Here, I'll show you what the... So this Harvest reverse card here is kind of, you know, echoing what I've said before about, and kind of bringing me back to my main point here, of things not always going exactly how you imagined, right? With the Harvest card, it represents a time when you are, symbolically in this case, towards the end of a situation, and it's not how you thought it would be, right? You get to this final harvest of all of the things that you wanted, and it's not as much as you thought it would be, right? You kind of thought it would be a little better. You kind of thought you'd get more out of it, and unfortunately you didn't this season, you know? I don't think you're really towards the end of anything here, but it's that feeling of this didn't go exactly how I wanted it to. But the thing is, with a harvest of food or crops or whatever, that happens every single year, right? It didn't go exactly how you wanted it to this time. And that's okay. There's next year, you know? It's annoying. You have to adapt to it, you know? If you didn't get as much food as you thought you were going to, or as much money as you thought you were going to, now you have to deal with that. And that sucks. That's really annoying. But the best thing you can do is learn from whatever mistakes you made. Or if you didn't make any mistakes, and that's just how it was, if there was, I don't know, some bear or something that came along and destroyed a whole bunch of your crops, and you didn't have any say over that, it just happened while you were asleep. The reality is, even though that sucks, and you can feel however you want to feel about it, at some point you do have to pick yourself up and say, whatever, I'll make it work. Next year will be better. We'll make some adjustments. There's always next year. We'll be fine. You know, it's about controlling how you react, how your emotions are, which does not mean denying them. I will never tell you to deny your emotions or not feel them. But it's about, you know, like I've mentioned, not crossing that boundary into making a problem bigger than it needs to be, more upsetting than it needs to be, more frustrating than it needs to be, you know? So anyway, I'm going to stop there because I know we've packed a lot into this reading. But I hope it gave you a lot to think about, gave you a little direction. But if you have any questions about this, or if you'd like any part of this clarified, please let me know. You can leave a comment or you can just reach out to me, whichever you prefer. As always, Pisces moons, I'm wishing you lots and lots of luck with this situation. I think to sum things up a little bit here, remember to look at reality. Don't make problems that don't exist yet. Things look generally good with the people who you're around, so I don't think you need to worry about them. You are welcome to have a healthy level of skepticism and try, you know, working to just be responsible and make good, responsible decisions. But again, it looks good. Remember to keep in mind what is actually happening versus what could happen and is happening in your head. You know what I mean? Anyway, this video is long enough. We'll stop it there. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Bye!